Okay. Good afternoon. First and foremost, I would like to welcome Pennsylvania Attorney General David Sunday to Johnstown and to the Johnstown Police Department. It's an honor and a pleasure to have you here today. Since 2020, the State Attorney General's Office has been actively involved with the Johnstown Police Department, combating the drug trade in the city and the municipalities that we patrol. With the assistance of your office, we have been able to take numerous illegal drugs off the street, confiscate hundreds of thousands of dollars, and have had multiple individuals in prison for long periods of time. Last year alone, the Johnstown Police Department, along with our state and federal partners in law enforcement, including the Pennsylvania Office of the Attorney General and their agents, have executed over 25 search warrants in the greater Johnstown area in 2025, which has led to 66 individuals being arrested and prosecuted for illegal narcotics and firearms through the Cambria County District Attorney's Office and through the state grand juries. It is not unusual for the Johnstown Police Department with outside agencies, especially on the state and federal level. The resources that are offered by the AG's office to continue the constant fight against illegal drugs and firearms violations is tremendous. With the assistance of the AG's office, we are making steps and bringing back to the city of Johnstown a place where residents and visitors can feel safe, have peace, and the quality of life that we, as police officers and agents, every day try to achieve. By working alongside and partnering with your office and your staff of agents, we are able to obtain this on a daily basis. The men and women of your office, the men and women of the Johnstown Police Department, who put their lives on the line every day, the residents that we swore to protect and serve, thank you for your constant support and your continue to make Johnstown and the Commonwealth a safe and better place to live. At this time, I have the privilege and honor to introduce Pennsylvania Attorney General David Sunday.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone. It's an honor to be here in Johnstown. So I'm Attorney General Dave Sunday, and I'm here with my law enforcement partners to discuss the culmination of a long-term collaborative investigation that, as of today, shut down an upper-level, sophisticated drug trafficking ring. This ring brought drugs to Cambria County from Philadelphia and distributed poisons, which were heroin, cocaine, and fentanyl, pretty much the full gamut, across neighborhoods in this area. Aided by the 54th Investigative Statewide Grand Jury, the investigation of this network really took off in recent months. And earlier this month, the grand jury recommended charges against 10 members of this organization, including the two leaders, Khalil Henderson and Hayes Kelly. The Henderson-Kelly organization ran a pipeline of poisons to this area, and they did it with a high level of sophistication. This group had an awareness of law enforcement and made every attempt to defeat our efforts. Those efforts on the part of these drug dealers ultimately failed, as we now have the primary conspirators in this organization charged. All are in custody, but for a few who have been deemed lesser contributors to the organization, those individuals have been mailed summons to appear in court. I stand here today with our law enforcement partners. In addition to the members of the Office of Attorney General's Bureau of Narcotics Investigations, we have the Pennsylvania State Police, the Johnstown Police Department, and Cambria County District Attorney Jessica Arndt. So, conspirators actually served in this case here as spotters to watch out for police and send alerts when officers were detected. And I apologize, 1 second here. Let's do that again. So we are here with a message to the criminals who think they can outsmart and outmaneuver law enforcement. That message is our commitment to keep communities safe is endless. Our ambition to hold accountable predatory traffickers who prey on addicted individuals will never relent. And the message is validated with the filing of these charges and arresting members of the Henderson-Kelly organization. I will step aside for our partners to speak in a few moments, but first I will summarize the investigation, who is charged, and how the organization was eradicated by the filing of these charges. Law enforcement became aware of this organization in 2022 and started then to uncover what the organization was doing and who was involved. Through undercover buys and other tactics, law enforcement compiled intel and determined Khalil Henderson and Hayes Kelly were the heads of this organization. Both men were from Philadelphia and had ties to the area. The two men and others trafficked heroin, cocaine, fentanyl, marijuana, and other drugs here from Philadelphia. The organization also consisted of street-level dealers. Also, it was learned that this organization wasn't naive to police potentially watching them. And picking up from where I was before, so conspirators actually served as spotters to watch out for police and send alerts when officers were detected and perceived to be on the block. Ultimately, this case was put into the 54th statewide investigating grand jury that was convened by the Office of Attorney General. Those proceedings bore fruit, the investigation advanced, and several notable events happened last year. In October, Nasir Kelly was arrested when he got off a Greyhound bus in Johnstown, carrying bulk marijuana that was transported here from Philadelphia. A couple days later, Hayes Kelly and Kadeem Brackett were stopped in a BMW in Bedford County. Neither man had a license. The BMW was seized and it was searched. Large quantities of cocaine and fentanyl were found in the car. A few days later, several search warrants were served at locations in Johnstown. The results were lucrative. Police found cocaine at homes on Charles Street and Cypress Avenue, and a stolen firearm at a home on Park Avenue. That was Jania Polk's home. Jania is Nasir Kelly's girlfriend. Fast forward to last week, the grand jury recommended charges against 10 individuals, and they are Khalil Henderson, Hayes Kelly, Nasir Kelly, Kadeem Brackett, Jason Dahl, Brayanne Lightfoot, and Jania Polk. Those 7 individuals are charged with felony corrupt organizations, possession with intent to deliver, and other related offenses. These 3 defendants are facing lesser charges, and that is Tracy Freeman, Darion Dixon, and Susan Hyder. The 2 heads, Henderson and Hayes Kelly, were already incarcerated, as was Kadeem Brackett. Nasir Kelly, Jania Polk, Jason Dahl, and Brianna Lightfoot were taken into custody last week. The remaining 3 have been mailed summons. All, of course, are presumed innocent unless and until proven guilty. My office, Senior Deputy Attorney General Megan McGorn and Deputy Attorney General David Gorman will prosecute this case. And to close, before I turn it over to my partner standing with me, I want to take a minute and say that cases like this cannot happen unless people work together. We either win as a team or we don't. And I'm so proud to stand here being able to address this case with my colleagues who all came together to achieve the common goal of making all of our communities safer. I cannot tell you how proud I am of this effort. I also want to say that although we are standing here in front of you today, the many, many people who work every day on the streets that put themselves in harm's way, literally every day, multiple times a day, due to the nature of their work, they can't stand here in front of cameras for these press conferences. And so I want to make it clear, if they're watching, if their families are watching, if their friends, the community, I am beyond grateful for your sacrifice to make our community safe, to protect our children, to protect our families. We are beyond grateful, and we could never, ever do cases like this without you. And I will also note that, we live in a world where, the world demands everything from police. We expect them to have the answers to every question, oftentimes 10 times within the course of a shift. And we expect them to be perfect in everything we do. And we have to remember that these law enforcement officers, these men and women, they walk into harm's way literally every single time they have an interaction in the community. And any one of the instances that we're talking about here today could have resulted in something terrible happening to them. And so I stand here with pride, I stand here with gratitude and profound appreciation for the work of our law enforcement, and I am absolutely grateful for it. So, with that being said, Trooper Ferguson.
Good afternoon. I'm Trooper Cameron Ferguson from the Pennsylvania State Police. I'm actually detached from state police to this specialized IRT specialized unit, which is Incident Response Team. I'm originally from this area, so when I got the call from the local police department to help out with this investigation, I was all on board. I think the critical thing is that the community, other local police departments, is the gathering of all the information, gathering and sharing information. I think that's what's the key in today's society to help with policing. I just wanted to just take a minute just to say thank you, Johnstown Police. Thank you, Attorney Generals, for allowing me to help with this community that I'm from. And at this time, I'm just going to run it over to the Cambria County District Attorney, Jessica Owen.
On behalf of the District Attorney's Office, on behalf of local law enforcement, and behalf of Cambria County, I want to thank Attorney General Sunday, Megan, all of the Attorney General agents for coming to our community and investing countless hours. As Attorney General said, these men and women, these local law enforcement agents with the Attorney General's Office, narcotics trafficking doesn't just occur Monday through Friday, 9 to 4. These law enforcement officers and agents missed events with their children, missed events with their family, worked countless hours to be collaborative, to work together so that we can be proactive in our community. And that's something that's becoming more and more difficult here in Cambria County for local law enforcement to have the resources to be proactive instead of just reactive to crimes in our community. So I am incredibly grateful. I feel entirely inadequate standing here, to be honest, because I just have so much appreciation for all of the efforts from the Attorney General's Office, the state police, and local law enforcement for putting the time, the energy, and resources into making Cambria County safe. I'm incredibly grateful. So thank you.
And we have time to take a couple questions if we can't answer them. I want to remind everyone that these are ongoing investigations. Investigations continue to go after arrests are made, and so we'll answer what we can if anyone has any questions.
You mentioned it was sophisticated. Can you elaborate on how sophisticated this operation was?
Sure.
Do we do it?
Sure.
We found that one of the things that was surprising, or one of the more sophisticated things with this particular organization, was their counter surveillance. And so they were trying to dodge law enforcement at every turn through this investigation, using other individuals who would be on lookout, who were noticing undercover vehicles, and so they were using whatever tools that they could to try to counteract what law enforcement was trying to do. But fortunately, we were able to combat all of that, and were able to continue this investigation and able to bring the charges.
Do you know how long this drug ring was going on, or do you at least have some sort of estimate as to how long this may have continued?
So, based on the investigation, the facts presented themselves in 2022. And so, with that being said, we know for a fact that it was going on since then. I mean, oftentimes, these individuals, and I have to be careful again because it's an ongoing investigation. So what I will say, I'll stick to the facts. And so we know for a fact this was going on since 2022. Yep.
How important is it to maybe not just charge at a first arrest and to keep the investigation going, to maybe increase those charges and maybe find more people that are involved?
That is an outstanding question. And I say that because when we look at illegal drugs in the community, there's multiple things that have to be done. The first one is obviously we do everything we can to remove the supply with your street level dealers. We also do everything we can, and this is something across law enforcement, working to help people get into treatment, people with addiction, so that we can decrease the demand as well. But when you look at that in totality, you're never really going to get ahead until you remove the organization that is actually pouring the drugs into the community for the street level dealers to use. And so with that being said, cases like this are unbelievably important. And to the point that was mentioned by the district attorney earlier, when we look at resources, this is where we all coming together can really have amazing outcomes, because it's essentially a force multiplier where our officers work together, the investigators work together, we bring our resources together, and that's the only way that we can do big cases like this. And so this is really important, and we're very proud of it.
What kind of message does this send when, you know, you explained how they were trying to evade undercover and controlled buys, things like that, but that you didn't stop, you kept going and were able to get?
I think the message is simple. I mean, for people that want to deal drugs, they have to know and understand that the days in the past where, you know, hey, maybe are they looking at us, are they not looking at us, those days are gone. We are all every day working together to identify drug dealers, arrest them, and arrest the traffickers that are giving them the drugs. And so they might think they got away with it for a day, but literally any day they could be arrested and their face could be on a poster standing here right beside us.
At this time, do you know how much heroin, fentanyl, cocaine this organization has brought into central Pennsylvania in a quantifiable amount, or are you still investigating that?
We know that they have been active in this community and bringing these drugs into the community for at least the last 4 years. And this isn't something where it pops up every few months. They have actively been trafficking drugs in this community for that amount of time. So while I can't give you a quantifiable amount, over that period of time, I can tell you that it was daily that they were bringing these drugs and spreading them through the community.
All right, well, thank you everyone for covering this. I appreciate it. And again, thank you to all my colleagues. I appreciate every one of you. And thank you for being here. Everybody have a great day. Thank you.